I do. But you have to understand where I get my sense of humor from. I get my sense of humor from my family, specifically my mom and dad, even more specifically my dad. Now, my parents are not dwarves. What? I know. I tell a lot of people that sometimes. They're like, what? Like, because they don't believe that tall people can have dwarf children. They, like, look at me, and when they ask me, like, hey, Brad, where are your mom and dad from? They think I'm going to say, Narnia. That's not where they're from. And there's no dwarves in my family at all. I am the only one, so they weren't expecting it. And so, like, my dad is this really athletic dude, tall athletic dude, and he thought his wife was going to give birth to a football player. Instead, she shot out a football. And you got to ask yourself, what would you do in that situation? What would you do if you found out your child was a little bit different? He wasn't going to be like all the other kids. What would you do? How would you react if you knew for a fact your son was guaranteed to be bullied when he got to school? Hopefully, you do what my dad did. He bullied me first. But he did it in a very awesome way. He would make fun of me, and he would tell me, like, all right, hit me back. Hit me back with something. That's what you're going to do. Some kid's going to come up to you. He's going to make fun of you. What are you going to do? You going to cry about it? No, not my son. You're going to make him regret saying that to you. You're going to make him cry about it. That's what you're going to do. So he molded me. He trained me. He prepared me like Yoda and Luke Skywalker. The sizes were reversed, but you get the idea. So by the time I got to kindergarten, I was a trained verbal assassin. I walked into kindergarten with some swag like, I hope someone fucks with me today. And someone did. Someone did fuck with me. I will never forget this. First day of school, we're all lined up, right? And we're taking roll. This kid runs out of line in front of the entire class, runs right up to me, points his finger in my face and goes, ha ha, you're little. I looked at him and went, ha ha, your mom doesn't live with your dad anymore. Tears, tears, tears. I live in California. I had a 50-50 shot at getting that one right. So he starts crying. I get sent to the principal's office. I'm sitting there in the office. It's me, it's the principal, it's the kid. Kid's still crying because he's a bitch. And then the principal looks at me and goes, I can't believe you made him cry. I'm calling your father. Do it. All right, I'll do it. So he gets the phone out. He calls my dad, gets my dad out of work, and says, Mr. Williams, I'm here with your son, Brad. He's in my office today because he made another little boy cry at school. What do you have to say about that? Here's what my dad said. He goes, did he start it or did he finish it? Yeah. I see the old school parents clapping right now because you know what that means. Some of the younger parents are like, what are you talking about? Did he start or did he finish it? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Bad. Both children made fun of each other. They should both be punished equally. They should be put in timeout. They should put in timeout, Brad. Timeout means they can't use their Xbox for 3 minutes. It's not good. They'll think about what they did, and then they'll be done, and they'll want to learn something, and they'll want to go outside. Now, before they go outside, though, it's very scary outside. So you want to dip your child in a big vat of Purell. Just dip them in that Purell. So there's no germs on them, but, they could fall. So you want to be prepared for that. So you put a helmet on them. You put some wrist pads, some elbow pads, some knee pads. And then if they play competitive sports, even if they get last place, you can't hurt their self-esteem. So if they get last place, you give them a 3-foot-tall trophy, and at the bottom of it says, you're special. Fuck you. Fuck you. Stop it. Stop it. That's not what you do. Did you start it or did you finish it? Because you're never, ever, ever supposed to start a fight. But if you're in one, you better damn well finish that thing. That's the rule. If you start a fight, you're an asshole. If you finish it, you're a goddamn hero. That's the difference. So my dad says that to him, and the principal goes, well, to be honest with you, he finished it. Then my dad says this on the speakerphone. He goes, well, problem with your school is not my son. Problem with your school is the other kid's a pussy. Click. And I'm dancing around the office. That's my dad. That's my dad. And then I looked at the other kid. I'm like, you see, that's what a father does. You would have no idea what a father does. Finish him. Dad was proud of me that day. I got Chuck E. Cheese that day. Awesome. Now, don't think that just because I had that moment that my parents' job was done. Because if you're a parent, you know you never stop being a parent. So my dad never stopped fucking with me, okay? Never. He even had to discipline me in a creative way. Because, like, he's old school. He wanted to discipline me because I would mess up, just like any kid messes up. And my dad, like, he wanted to hit me, but you can't punch a dwarf. No, that's 12 years bad luck. Like, you're not doing that. So my dad never hit me. Here's what he would do. When I would mess up, my dad would pick me up, put me on a counter, and then leave. Some of you get it. Some of you are like, what's the big deal? Well, 5-foot counter, 2-foot human. Unless you leave a parachute, not going anywhere for a while. One time at Christmas, I knocked over the Christmas tree. Dad got mad, picked me up, put me on the counter, called in my sister, was like, hey, Katie, come here. Check it out. Look what I got. Elf on a shelf. 16th birthday. My dad wakes me up on my birthday. Happy birthday, son. I bought you a car. Yeah! I'll run downstairs, run to the kitchen, get to the garage, open it up. Fisher-Price Power Wheels sitting right there in the damn garage. Hey, I lived a block and a half away from school. I still drove that thing to school. I had the first electric car. I was a visionary. Now, I tell those stories about my father, and a lot of you have the appropriate reaction. You laugh. Some of you get that look, and I know that look. I say those stories, and you're like, oh, Brad, that's so sad. Your father made fun of you. What do you think that did to you, Brad? Made me a man. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. I thank God every day that my dad made fun of me. I'm so thankful that he put a little adversity in my life. That way, I knew how to conquer adversity later. You have to ask yourself one question. Who do you want your kid to be? Do you want your kid to be ready for the world that is or the world that should be? Now, in the world that should be, there should be no murder. There should be no rape. There should be no ISIS. There should be no Justin Bieber. But that's not the world we live in. We live in a world where, unfortunately, all those things do exist. So, who do you want your kid to be? Do you want your kid to be the person that's never had anything go wrong for them ever? Smooth sailing the entire way? Never had anything wrong, never got hurt, never got a bruise, just run down the street every day, just sunshine and lollipop. No, you don't want that kid. Because when something does happen to that kid, and it will, that kid's not going to know what to do. People want to protect their children from life. And to some extent, you have to do that, but you have to let a little in because you're never going to be able to protect them forever. Life, ladies and gentlemen, has an undefeated record. No one has gone through this thing unscathed. No one. My family got ours about 2 years ago. 2 years ago, my dad came home and announced to the family that he had skin cancer. And we knew as a family, like, all right, we got to deal with this. And we started dealing with it. And then when my dad had to have part of his face removed for plastic surgery and try to get that cancer off his face, that didn't work. And we had to regroup. Then when he went through radiation treatment, that didn't work. We had to regroup. Then he had to go through chemotherapy. And I had to watch the man who raised me, the man who I love more than anything in this world, wither away to almost nothing. But I was never truly scared because my dad raised me to never fear anything in this world more than him. I knew nothing on this planet was scarier than my dad. Nothing is more powerful than my dad. I know this. My sister knows this. And now cancer knows it because he beat that son of a bitch. Want to know how he did it? Ask him, because my father is sitting right here in the second row. Thank you. Thank you for teaching me. Thank you for teaching me never to quit. Thank you for teaching me to be a man and hopefully be the man that you can be proud of. And now it is my dream. It is my goal to one day have a son. Don't get me wrong, he's going to be taller than me. That scares the fuck out of me. But one day, I want to have that moment with my son where we're arguing, just like any father and son does. And we're having that moment, and we're arguing, and we're getting pissed off. It happens in every household. It is my dream that one day my son will look down at me and get mad at me and pick me up and put me on a counter and be like, Grandpa taught me that one, bitch. Thank you guys very much for being a part of this.